Hi, everyone. I'm Stuart Spillman. I'm Senior Policy Advisor for Autism Speaks, the nation's largest autism science and advocacy organization. And we're here today to talk about transition. I want to break from my remarks because we're very fortunate to have Representative Mike Doyle here. I'd like to introduce Representative Doyle to comment on today's events.
Thanks, Stuart. Well, good morning, everyone. It's really, yes?
The mic is live streaming. So.
Okay. You want me to speak into the mic? Okay. What would you do without your staff? Huh? Anyways, thank you all for coming today. I think this can be a very interesting briefing and a timely one, too. 50,000 young people on the autism spectrum age out of school-based support systems every year. And these individuals all too often have problems making the transition to adulthood. This is a problem that's growing. Just recently, NBC Dateline broadcast On the Brink, a report that chronicled the struggles of two families to secure essential services for their autistic sons after the boys graduated from high school. This report documented many challenges that parents like Mary Clancy find themselves confronted with as their children make the difficult transition to adulthood. I was told by the producer of that show that they received more calls and emails after that show aired than any show Dateline has ever put on. If that doesn't tell everybody how big and how much of a concern this is in the country, I don't know what else does. We here in the Congressional Autism Caucus, we've been aware of this issue for a long time. And we really think the federal government has a role to play with autism spectrum disorders. We have a role to make sure that people can become independent and self-sufficient to the extent that they can. And we've been trying to work closely with Autism Speaks and other parent groups to enact legislation to provide additional services to individuals with autism, especially adults. And the Dateline's On the Brink report really was a compelling case study on the urgent need for such support. So hopefully today's briefing is going to present us with some new information about outcomes for young adults with autism, the services currently available for those transitioning out of high school, and what Congress could do better to respond to this growing problem. It's my hope today that the briefing will help make the case for providing more services for adults in the autism spectrum disorders. I'm confident that we can win the fight to increase federal support for individuals and families dealing with autism. The hardest part is to get the ball rolling. I think today's briefing is going to be a good start. I told the people with Dateline that sometimes you just need a push here in Congress. And we're in sequester. Funding's difficult. Chris Smith and I, when we got the reauthorization done, one of our biggest concerns was making sure that we could get appropriations to follow a lot of the goals of the reauthorization. And in this climate, it's tough. But this is a problem that's not going to go away. And it gets larger each day. Congress needs to help confront it. Hopefully this briefing is the beginning of that. I want to thank everybody that's going to give us some information today, and I look forward to hearing some of the remarks and testimony here at the briefing. So, Stuart, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Doyle, for your support at this briefing and for your longstanding support of people with autism. We're very fortunate to have you and Representative Smith as co-chairs of the Autism Caucus. I want to acknowledge the presence of a number of my colleagues from the Autism Speaks and from other autism organizations in the room. The topic of transition, as Representative Doyle indicated, is one of great interest in the community. The word transition originates from words meaning to go across. Each year, about 50,000 young people with autism cross over from one part of life to the next. These young people leave high school, where supports are mandated, to an adult world and more uncertainty. Each of the young people who crosses over will have a different experience. Some will have an uneventful transition from high school to adult life, but for many others there will be great challenges. For many in the room, the challenges of transition are personal, and as I indicated to several of you, I'm actually going through those myself. My own son is one of the 50,000 young people who will be transitioning this year. He's turning 21 in June. So what we're talking about today is not just a topic of professional interest, but it's something that touches many of us